Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new series for season 10. I'm going to do a weekly roundup to just show you guys on YouTube who aren't part of the Discord, kind of all the things that go on during a full week, and to catch you up to speed outside of the stream highlights. So we just had week 1 of the SFA season 10. We're finally back. Week 1 typically doesn't have that many games, so we actually only had 12 games this week, but damn, did we have some great ones. We started out with 2 blowouts here. These were the sim games of the week. So Florida destroyed Mississippi State, and Colorado absolutely pounded on Colorado State. And then we got into BearCave games where Alabama kind of stuck it to Oklahoma, who lost this game last year. And they proved why they are a top 10 team. They're number 7. And then we had some typical blowouts here like Auburn and here we are. And then like Utah, they won the national championship in season 8. Ole Miss got taken to the very edge, but they ended up winning on a last-second field goal by Costa with 10 seconds left. Georgia State, probably the upset of the week, put up 42 on Arizona at Arizona. It wasn't particularly close. They added a late touchdown, so that was quite the shocker. So Coach Dogwater down bad in his first game at his new job. And then this one was another shocker. Nebraska, who only had, I believe, 1 win last year, took out the 2-time defending division title, the Big 12 North, Arkansas. It was kind of a barn burner, not much scoring. And then Georgia, a top 4 team, they're ranked number 4, got taken to the edge by LSU, who ended up not being able to convert on a 4th and goal to try and tie up the game. And then this was probably the most stressful game of the week. Myself, East Carolina, my team, we got taken to the absolute edge by Arch Manning in Buffalo. They had 2 chances in the final 2 minutes, 2 drives, and we were able to come up clutch both times. So a very, very clutch kickoff return by Deion Buchanan, and then Heimlich Heisenberg, 2 touchdowns. He's kind of the touchdown god of the SFA. So. And then technically the biggest upset in terms of rank. Number 3 Baylor got beaten by unranked Minnesota 45-21. This was a push game in BearCave because Baylor typically loses these kind of games. This is their 4th year in a row losing their first game, but they have also made the college football playoff 4 years in a row. So, everything's going according to plan. I don't press the panic button on Baylor quite yet. And then finally our game day. It was quite a weird game because, Tennessee started out with a defensive touchdown and then they immediately got an offensive touchdown right after that. Seemed like it was going to be a blowout. And then all of a sudden the scoring just stopped. Cardale Jones and Kyle White, the QBs, kind of shit themselves this whole game. Cardale couldn't even get 100 yards and then Kyle White throws 3 interceptions. So... it came down to the end where Kansas had the ball in the red zone and he threw a game-clinching interception and Tennessee was able to then run out the clock. So low scoring, but definitely an exciting game for sure to start out the week on. Now, next thing I'm going to show you guys is the player of the week for week 1. Nate Robinson, the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, he had 7 total touchdowns and 550 yards. A crazy day, just absolutely destroying Oklahoma. And then the cornerback Demarius McGee out of LSU, they were attempting to upset Georgia, came up just a little bit short, but he was able to get 2 fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries in that game, so definitely clutch. ACC, they did not play. The Big Ten, obviously Minnesota is the only team who played, but in a huge upset win, Trayvon Boykin, the Heisman hopeful, 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, and they got 2 interceptions by Darius Green. In the Big 12, Brendan Lewis, who's actually the backup for Colorado, he came in after their starter had an injury, and he threw 3 touchdowns. So Definitely a great backup quarterback right there. And then the cornerback for Nebraska in their upset over Arkansas, he was able to get a fumble as well. So cornerbacks getting fumbles is kind of a big trend of week 1. In the American, obviously I'm the only team who played, but I had 3 sacks by Sue Radware, and then Bo Wallace, his redshirt senior season, he kind of popped off. Not necessarily popped up, but did what he was supposed to do to get us a win. And then the MAC, obviously Arch Manning had a great day, but he just couldn't find that final touchdown. And then another cornerback forcing fumbles. And then the Mountain West, they got absolutely destroyed. So this is kind of like participation award. Pac-12 here, Jaquindon Jackson, he had 2 TDs, 315 yards, and then 2 interceptions for the free safety. And then back to the SEC, they kind of nabbed both of the honors. And the Sun Belt in the big upset for Georgia Southern, Jalen White, he had 218 yards on 40 carries and 2 touchdowns. A huge day for him. And then Josh Trice, another cornerback, getting fumbles. And then we're going to take a look at the current season leaders. So after 1 week here, your passing leaders, kind of the surprise is definitely Arch Manning. 2 SFA players up here though, 3 and 4, Ryan McBride and Arch Manning. Rushing leaders, Cale McCarr and Jamison Crowder and Gio Bernard are your SFA players. Receiving wise, Leonardo Ferguson is an SFA player. Tackle-wise, Shad Boyko is your only SFA player up there for Baylor. And then David McCormack, hey, he had 2 sacks on game day for Kansas, but it just wasn't quite enough. No SFA players on the on that leaderboard quite yet, and same with the kicking. And then here's the updated Heisman Watch. Now, this isn't going to be updated probably for another week, but an early change here is Nate Robinson. He does get his name up in there. He had a great day. But normally these preseason favorites kind of stay put until they get a decent sample size. So that's definitely going to change a lot throughout the season. And then finally, we got to talk about injuries. There are 2 injuries I want to talk about that are worth mentioning that get posted in the Discord. The first one, yeah, you see it right there. Freshman All-American. He was the best safety in the country in his freshman year. Jamal Okeke, the 7th, did in fact break the collarbone, and he is out for the season. He is 99 hit power. He is the leader of that defense, and there's definitely are going to miss him for this season, and it makes his ability to get to the college football playoff much, much harder. So a devastating injury to a Baylor defense that has shown massive improvement this season. And then the other one worth mentioning is Corey Kiner, the starting running back for LSU. He did in fact break his forearm, or fractured it, and he'll be out for half of the season. So these are both categorized as major injuries to impact players, so they get posted in the Discord. All these other ones, even though they are kind of big injuries, they're not over 85 overalls, and they're not impact players or SFA players. So, I mean, we're going to see hundreds and hundreds of injuries. So I don't post them all, but these 2 definitely are worth mentioning. Super painful for an SFA fan to see Jamal go down, no matter who you are. And then rankings will be updated tomorrow when everybody has a chance to post. So the rankings you see are not actually, in fact, correct. But we're going to take a look at the week 2 preview here. Typically week 1 we don't necessarily have a bunch of games, and then week 2 there's a lot of FCS games. So week 3 and on is kind of when you have a normal week. This is going to be a great game. Georgia Tech with the triple option, Coach Mike against Tennessee, who had a lot of trouble on offense. So it's definitely going to be a rushing game. It's going to be an exciting one at Neyland as well. And then Michigan State, the debut for Coach McNasty against another user, Ohio. That's going to be a fun one. Same thing here. Can Arkansas respond to another very tough divisional matchup with Kiko Strong and Coach Ron? The defending national champions take on Cal. And then a lot of FCS games here. It's just kind of how the cookie kind of crumbles. Coach Green in Kentucky, he has a tough matchup here taking on Alabama. And this will most likely be game day. These are definitely going to be two ranked teams. I don't know exactly their rankings yet, but it's going to be Coach Neal in Ole Miss with the 99 overall. Ryan Fitzpatrick against Georgia, led by SFA player Ryan McBrien. So that's definitely going to be a fun game day. I don't see any other game that's going to take it unless I see something here, but very unlikely. Some decent matchups here and there. Penn State, Coach Dave, he gets his first game of the year. And it's always interesting to see which teams lose to the FCS. Who's going to get clowned in the server this week? That's kind of how you want to avoid it. And then Coach Skook, he's facing Auburn in his first career game. So we have a lot of new users. So definitely a lot of fun games. And then can Georgia Southern keep up the wins against Power 5 competition? This is another big opportunity against a quality P5 team. And just keep scrolling through. We're getting towards the end. Obviously a favorite to make the college football playoff and win the conference. Florida State makes their debut. And that's going to be the end of the Week 2 preview. Let me know your predictions for this week, who you think is going to win, maybe an upset or an FCS team you think is going to upset in the comments below. And I will see you guys all next week for the Week 2 Roundup. Thanks for watching.